Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have an update to the Clayton Echard paternity scandal. And I know some people say, Dave, we're sick of your coverage of this. Well, look, you decided to click on this video, right? So you're stuck with us now. But most people find this very, very fascinating. Jane Doe, the lady that's accusing Clayton of being the father of her unborn twins, which are due February 14th, is now threatening lawsuits to podcasters who cover the story. She says, if you cover what Dave Neal is saying, but don't hear my side, my intent is to sue for defamation. Now, which podcasts and other channels did she send this to? I don't know. I have obtained a copy of the email. I'm going to share it with you guys. I've redacted her personal information, but I do find it very interesting to share that the overall vibe is, believe my opinion or I'll sue you. That's kind of the vibe that we get. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind the scenes bonus content, and also every afternoon Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast. So just to give a quick teaser for Bachelor Rush Hour, on today's episode, we've already recorded it, it is published. We've got an escaped horse on a cargo flight. That's right. A escaped horse 30,000 feet in the air. We got that story. I've also got, I didn't cover the Tom Brady. I've got Patrick Mahomes wearing the same red underwear every episode. And I've got the crazy murder charges for the son of a powerful agent in Los Angeles. It's a very bizarre story. So if you enjoy any of that, you can go check me out over there. That's on the podcast Bachelor Rush Hour. All right, here's the email. I'm just going to read it for you. I'll pause and interject where I see fit. This was an email sent to what I believe to be a number of podcasts. I've had at least one podcast say, hey, heads up, Dave, I was blind carbon copied on this email. It's probably sent to more people. This is a warning that nobody else discusses this. Let's just read it. This is Jane Doe again, aka the anonymous woman in the Clayton Echard paternity scandal. There has been a tremendous amount of falsehoods spread by Dave Neal and Reality Steve, who have received their information from two of my ex-boyfriends, whom I have protective orders against. Objection, Your Honor. And by the way, check this out. Hold on, I wasn't prepared for this. But over the last week, a lawyer actually found me and gave me this, I don't want to give away anyone's information, but gave me this book, Objections at Trial. So big shout out. This is a 20-year-old book. She said this might not be good for a lot of new law because of the internet, but this book has got love inside of it, so I can find out where I want to object here. Objection, Your Honor. Liability insurance improper. Okay, maybe that's not the right one, but either way, good to have some friendly legal support on my side. So she says that her ex-boyfriends, who she has protective orders against, are the ones piping us with information. I can tell you this right now. I've talked to tens, dozens, if not hundreds of people. I've talked to people that have little to do with the personal inner workings of the story, but that have pulled court documents. I mean, is it wrong and illegal? Quick answer, no, for me to share things that people said in the court of law. That doesn't mean they necessarily are the be-all, end-all truth. But if three different men, as we showed yesterday, all shared the same exact or very similar stories about how they had been duped, scammed, harassed, or whatever, I can share their stories. Whether or not they're lying or telling the truth, I'm sharing what they said. That is allowed in the world we live in, folks. So anyway, she says the statements in the documents they are referencing were proven to be lies, which is why I won both of my cases against them. I am baffled as to why he has brought these to light as if these men were victimized by me when the court found the opposite to be true. I have proven injuries from strangulation and suffocation by these men and was accepted into the domestic violence brain injury program at Barrow because of it. Again, that's really nothing of which I have examined. I'm taking her word for it, of course. Now, her complaint in her recent lawsuit against one of her exes was dismissed. And her ex, his counterclaim was also dismissed. When she says she won, what she did win, I guess, was that the court found that her ex caused emotional distress and awarded her damages. The court dismissing the case, this current case, is a loss for her, if anything. So she's kind of been in, it's almost like saying, I'm a good baseball player because I got a base hit. Well, you also struck out 9 times. So I'm not saying she's not the victim of certain circumstances or whatever, but we are still waiting on the evidence that proves Clayton is the father of her unborn twins and all these other things. I mean, that is fair for me to cover. To think I am obsessed with this, if anything, I'm obsessed with covering Bachelor Nation news, and I believe, according to my editorial opinions here, that this is the most interesting Bachelor Nation story of all time. She said, I also have an order of protection against Clayton, which he has already violated. The detective on the case believes he has enough evidence that the district attorney will want to prosecute him and send it to him today. Now, this email, I'm assuming, was from yesterday or a few days ago. I don't really know when it was from, but I can tell you this, that has not been served yet, but it'll be very interesting to find out how Clayton violated his protection order that is against him. As we know, he has an injunction against harassment, essentially the same thing against her. So they have orders against each other. So if he violated an order against her, does that mean she violated an order against him? This sort of circular firing squad's very interesting. A complete waste of the court system, in my humble opinion. I am attaching the last email I sent to Dave Neal where I offered to sign a release to have my medical providers send my pregnancy records past and presently directly to him. Here's what's interesting. She says where I offered to sign a release. In the email she sent me, and trust me when I say, maybe there's another email she sent me. I try my best not to read them. She puts tracking codes in the emails. I know, what are you, Colton Underwood? Look that story up. She puts tracking codes in the emails to know when I'm opening them. When in fact, I might just be opening them and sending them to my lawyer, because at this point, I'm not reading anything she's sending me. I'm protecting my own mental well-being, right? But she says she offered to sign a release to have her medical provider send pregnancy records. As far as I'm concerned, I've only seen her say, I will have my medical providers send you records. That is different than her signing a release where I can just peep open all of her history. That is completely different. But either way, does that change the fact that we don't know that she's pregnant or not with Clayton's twins? We don't know that. She says there could be no more definitive proof than that. He never responded, which proved that he was not interested in the truth. No, I stopped responding because I told her, please stop emailing me. I'm considering this harassment. And then I have now forwarded all of correspondence onto my lawyer. If she does email me, I will then probably start my own paperwork to get a order of protection against her, or at least an injunction against harassment against her. Dave claimed that Rolling Stone was extremely interested in the story, but their news director told me they are not whatsoever. This is so ridiculous. He is on a mission for mainstream media to cover this because he believes there is a pattern, which is that I have gotten pregnant by 3 men whom I have protective orders against. I am 33 and don't think my reproductive history is that unique or anyone's business. So she's still claiming she's pregnant with Clayton Echard's twins. It could be true. It could be true. In which case, Clayton has either lied or there's been a miraculous turkey baster. It's Thanksgiving season, folks. We don't know if there was a blowjob baby or a turkey baster or anything like that. We don't know. But what we do know is Clayton saying he's only had oral sex with her and her redacting that statement from her emails. See, she leaves all of this out. And I might sound redundant, but she leaves all of this out. So to the layman who hasn't been following the story, to the lay podcaster, they might just say, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole, which I would understand them feeling that way. As we showed here, Reality Steve was actually live tweeting yesterday all of the results. Here's a screenshot from an upcoming appointment for Monday, July 24th of 2023, right? Probably, then she responds, correct. Then he says, the lawyer said, you understand that anyone can go online where Dr. Blank works and make an appointment? And she says, so she only provided the court in the Clayton Echard case documents that said she had like receipts for going to the doctor, not that she actually had what I believe would be someone who's affluent, well-to-do. You would probably, especially with high-risk pregnancy with twins, you would probably go to the doctor every 2 weeks. At the very least, every month. There would be at least 5 to 10 different ultrasounds. I mean, these are your unborn twins. You're going to be holding these ultrasounds, you're going to be protecting them. This is valuable. You're watching life being created. That's a big deal, right? We haven't seen those ultrasounds. So anyway, Reality Steve, as I have, is exposing all the frauds in Bachelor Nation. For the record, outside of Dave Neal, Susie Evans, and myself, no one in Bachelor Nation with a platform has come to Clayton's defense during any of this case. Embarrassing. And I have called people spineless cowards because I do believe they do get emails like this, and then they go, oh boy, I don't want to go near it, which I understand. But due to their sort of cowering, in the thought of a lawsuit or whatever, it has exposed those like me and Reality Steve as the sole sort of target for the vitriol. Because it's not me sharing all this information that I plucked out of the sky. It's the information that's in the publicly accessible court cases. Information that she threatened me by saying, oh, those court documents are sealed, so if you share them, that's illegal, X, Y, and Z. They're not sealed. The court documents are not sealed. They exist out there. And there's a reason why they're being shared around, because a lot of people believe that it is making a mockery of the system. She said, I will answer any questions you have and offer you the same medical release I offered Dave for my prior and current medical records if you believe I am faking being pregnant or that I have in the past. Okay, so I'm not an expert. I've never had anyone send me a medical release, but doctors and lawyers have told me that this is a ridiculous statement, that you don't just sign a release and everyone just gets to peep up the skirt. Like, that's just not how it works. Although I am willing to accept, if she wants to send it to my lawyer, don't send it to me. I am willing to accept her sending me every single ultrasound that she has, time-stamped and all that information, because we could look at that. And that way, if it's true, okay, oh, she's now actually showing reasonable claims that she's pregnant. And if it's false, it'll just be more information. So dare I sort of entice her to share that with us? You know I'll be the first to share this. You guys have to understand, we've covered her side. It doesn't hold weight, in my opinion, and that's why we're here today. She says, my mental health has been destroyed by Dave and Reality Steve since they have ignored the truth. If I am not offered that opportunity and you decide to cover the story with just Dave's point of view, my intent is to sue for defamation. I would be extremely appreciative if you would not cover the topic at all, and that if you do, you allow me to give my side of the story. We have never once shied away from sharing her side of the story. It just comes down to, with the information we've received, not believing it. That's where this story is right now. If anyone's interested, I have no shame whatsoever in sharing the fact that this coverage is costing me $10,000. That's the retainer I have to pay my lawyer. And people say, oh, why is it so expensive? Well, a lawyer in Los Angeles costs between $600 to $800 per hour. I'm supposed to be sitting in court where they don't tell you what time your court case is. You just show up in the morning with everyone else who's in court, and we could be there for 4 or 5 or 6 hours. Now imagine at $800 an hour, you're there for 6 hours. You're looking on upwards of $5,000 right there. Not to mention the countless time we've got to sift through her emails and put together our response to all these different things. She has told me, Dave, I'm going to pursue you with an injunction against harassment in Maricopa County. That's what she has told me. Even though the one she filed here was in California. So we have done everything by the book. We have responded in California to the court date, which has now been moved from November, the Monday after Thanksgiving, 27th or whatever day. It has been now moved to December 18th. Dare I let my Christmas season ruined by this woman? Not whatsoever. We will show up very prepared to make all of our claims, all of our First Amendment rights and all of this, and find it very hard that she's going to prove any way whatsoever that I'm harassing this nameless, faceless woman. What we are doing is holding her evidence to light and questioning it, and we'll continue to do that until proven otherwise. I think that's fair. And again, don't forget, if you enjoy my content and want to support us, go check out Bachelor Rush Hour, the afternoon podcast, or donate a little bread to our tip jar on Patreon at patreon.com/Dave Neal. We'll be back later. Have a good one, everybody.